I had a back surgery that ended my NFL journey. Every day felt like a battle. Simple pleasures like just playing with the kids or walking down to the bay in Pacific Beach were overshadowed by constant searing pain. I spent years chasing remedies that simply didn't cut it, and then I discovered the Good Feet store. For over 6 years now, I wear their custom fit arch supports, and they've helped me experience a life with less pain. Imagine that. Now I'm able to work, play, and just simply be there for my family without pain. And with locations in San Marcos, Carmel Mountain, and Mission Valley, their help is never far away from you. Come in and try before you buy at the Good Feet store and embrace the comfort, energy, and performance that your life deserves. Pain relief could be on the horizon for you at the Good Feet store.
All of those notifications can wait. This is your friendly lunchtime reminder from Kaiser Permanente that no matter how busy you are, it's important to stay active. A lunchtime walk is a great place to start. Kaiser Permanente San Diego has a variety of options to help you live healthier, including online tools, mobile apps, video appointments, and 29 medical facilities. You can count on us. Visit kp.org/San Diego. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is San Diego, for all that is you.
All about the presets.
That is the best new feature. It's like a car radio right on the app. There's a list of what's trending. There's all the podcasts. I love it.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio. Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go. Here we go. Now listen, some of y'all might know this and some of y'all don't.
San Diego Sports 760. We are here. We are live now. Sammy's back, so we are up on the stream, both YouTube and X, at Fletch and Sammy on X, at San Diego Sports 760 on YouTube. And by the way, San Diego Sports 760, we don't mind paying you to listen. We got 13 chances today for you to win $1,000 with the bonus bucks giveaway. That's every hour from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Your next shot to win is coming up at 1 o'clock today. Just to kind of throw this out there, do we all realize the National League West is the first division in baseball to have 4 separate teams with double-digit wins? It's kind of wild what all 4 of these teams have been able to do. Padres, Dodgers, Giants, Diamondbacks, all of them over 11 wins.
They're beating up on, we've been talking about it, they haven't played each other yet. So it's not like they're just kind of beating up on the same division. I mean, they are running through the entire league so far. I mean, all 4 of these teams have been fantastic. The Diamondbacks are really on the come, 6-1 in the last 7 games, and the Padres' best bullpen in baseball, and the Dodgers kind of had to get back with a sweep over the Rockies. Everyone's punching bags Colorado Rockies. That's whenever anyone needs a free win, just call Colorado.
The Colorado punching bags. I like that. They should probably think about changing their name. All right, I've seen this over the last few days, and it has been going semi-viral, but we've been kind of busy over here at San Diego Sports 760. But let's talk about Eric Hosmer for a second. Eric Hosmer, who I believe is still on the Padres payroll. He had some quotes on his podcast, I believe, about Jurickson Profar's PED suspension. And he was asked about it. And he said, look, the only way to get this game cleaned up and have these guys not risk 80-game suspensions for another couple years on the back end is to take away the guaranteed money. Is this kind of genius by Eric Hosmer? Like, is this the right thing
Eric
to say?
Hosmer be an all-star this season?
Nicely done. He will not be an all-star this season, by the way, but he is getting paid like $12.5 million by the Padres this year. But what Eric Hosmer said, look, you take a guy like Jurickson Profar, who signed, what, was it a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Braves?
3-year, 42.
Which is a lot of money, man, for Jurickson Profar, who until last year was kind of a disappointment. If you think about what he was in as a prospect coming up, he was one of the top 10, I believe, prospects in all of baseball when he was on his way up. At one point, he was even number 1 for a brief stint of time. So throughout his entire career, doesn't do a whole lot. It comes, and then the 2024 Padres, he's like the best player in baseball. He's a starting outfielder in the All-Star game. And then he gets suspended for PEDs, right, for that masking agent, right after he signs the big money contract with the Braves. Is Eric Hosmer kind of genius for saying the only way to dissuade people from taking PEDs in baseball is to have that threat of losing years on your contract afterwards as a part of it?
Right, because with Jurickson Profar, he's missing half a season's pay. So you think about it. If you're just missing 80 games, some guys, I mean, we don't like hearing this as fans. Some guys are like, great, you're telling me I don't have to play for 80 games and I'm getting paid.
Now, he is suspended without pay.
He's suspended without pay. So this is why they really kind of got after him with
But
that.
what Hosmer's talking about is you get popped for PEDs, the rest of your contract, even once you get back, is void. You're renegotiating.
Yeah.
So, like, if Soto, Soto gets a 80-day pop in year 2 of his $700 million deal, you're talking about going in afterwards and having to readjust.
Here's the problem with that, though. Then you're going to have one of these times, because every player always claims, oh, I ate some beef or something, and there was some formula or some supplement that I didn't know was
I have ringworm.
I have
what?
ringworm.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. I mean, but that's literally what everyone says. That does happen at times. I mean, it happens in fighting all the time. Guys take supplements to lose weight, gain weight, and then it happens. Yeah, it's hard because it just goes back to the debate of, should honestly PEDs be legal, because you're talking about 162 game season, and all it does is make guys recover better and create less injuries. Ideally, that's what you want. The flip side of that is you don't want every player then mandating, where basically if you want to keep up in the MLB, you need to take steroids, and steroids have a massive impact on just people's health down the road. I mean, we've seen that steroids really became a thing in the 80s, and people have taken them for years. It's been massive side effects. So it's tough, but yeah, Eric Hosmer wants clicks for his podcast.
So yeah, and that's exactly right, Sammy. That was the next thing I was going to say. And what he's saying is probably right. The problem is there's no way to possibly enforce this, because where football has pulled so far ahead of baseball and basketball, and obviously it's a little different here in San Diego. You look at Petco Park, it's packed full every night, but that's not the case around the entire league. Where football has really pulled ahead from both of these sports is kind of a jerkish thing to say. They don't let the players have that much power in football. The NFLPA is the weakest of all of the major sports players associations. MLBPA, way too strong. It is. And it was the holdouts from the 90s. That's what has led to this. But the fact of the matter is, this money is guaranteed, and you're not going to get that back from the players because that ship has already sailed. The NFL is the worst to its players, and it makes it the best game.
Yeah.
So you deal with the morality on your own.
Because no matter the star of the NFL, take your biggest stars. Your Patrick
Shield
Mahomes,
is bigger.
Josh Allen, the shield is bigger. Every fan base has a massive fan base. I know the Jaguars and stuff like that is on the lower end, but the shield and the teams are bigger than the organization. The NBA, Major League Baseball, outside of it being the Lakers or the Yankees, in maybe throw the Dodgers in there, no team is big. No players are bigger. Fernando Tatis, you can make an argument's brand could be bigger than the Padres.
I don't even think that's an exact look on Instagram. I bet you he has way more followers.
I mean, Manny Machado, same thing. So this is why it's always funny to me when people get mad at, say, the Dodgers or even, Rob Manfred, who has had a massive, has not been a great commissioner for baseball, for the amount of spending and deferring money and everything.
He's been great for the players.
The dirty secret behind it is the MLB Players Association doesn't want there to be salary caps, because there's a reason why every NFL team is competitive and has a shot every year, because if you pay a star quarterback $500 million, well, you better go find diamonds in the rough in the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds to fill out your roster. In Major League Baseball, all the players are like, we want it, we want it fair. I think that's why you saw Bryce Harper actually kind of side with the Dodgers and a lot of stuff. Like, they're getting paid at the end of the day.
Yeah, the dirty secret is like the NFL with the running backs that were on the move last year, all three of them finding new homes. All three of them had a successful season. I'm talking about Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, and the one that I'm blanking on. Can't remember who. Saquon Barkley. That's right. Of course, the most impactful one with the Eagles. All three of those guys moving, the NFL is more than fine with that, because they won the battle against the running backs who were all demanding so much more pay. This was 2 off seasons ago now. The running backs who all jumped on that Zoom call. Remember, it was Austin Eckler. They jump on the Zoom call and say, hey, we need to make a stand here. How's that going for you guys? Running backs, like, the NFL is more than happy to be okay with a few guys going on the move. And look, it helped them out too. So you look at the NFL, the strength of the ownership group, and Roger Goodell willing to stand up there and just take arrows from players, take arrows from fans. He's fine with it because he's acting as the shield of the shield, which is the NFL owners, which is the strongest ownership group in the world.
Well, and that's what's becoming fascinating about this
in the country. I'm sure soccer has some better ones overseas.
The quarterback situation from Tennessee going to UCLA, the whole I want more money, I want out. You took college football, which had completely universities and head coaches had all the power, and the players had none 15 years ago. Now it's to the other point where now college football players might have the most freedom of anybody. I mean, you can hit the transfer portal twice in a season, in the December window and then after the season. There was a player, I was watching ESPN last night, a tight end who transferred to Wisconsin, didn't play it down, and then is back in the portal again. I mean, the free enterprise thing is kind of taking itself a little too far, and I do think that players should get paid. It was bad the way it was before, but it's interesting the different dynamics in the leagues where some leagues it's really player driven. The NBA is very star driven outside of the Lakers and the Knicks and the Celtics, very star driven, whereas the NFL is certainly about the teams.
All right, we got Ryan Lindley coming up next. He's San Diego State's all-time passing leader. He's also on the coaching staff right now, entering his 4th season, I do believe, on the coaching staff of the San Diego State Aztecs football program. They got a pretty big weekend coming up. We'll talk about it with Ryan, as well as get our first look at some of these quarterbacks that made their way over to San Diego State in the transfer portal from quite literally the best quarterback in San Diego State history. Ryan Lindley joins the show coming up next at San Diego Sports 760.
Are your money skills total trash? Well, you are not alone. Personal finance ignorance is as American as apple pie. But don't fret. The How to Money podcast is here to help you improve. Think, Matt, if your emergency fund was invested, especially given the volatility we're experiencing right now. Ouchies. Investing, it is ultimately a necessity, but you got to keep that emergency fund accessible. It needs to be cash parked in your savings. It's time to increase your money knowledge. And the How to Money podcast is here to bring the wisdom. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search How to Money, and start listening today.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today by calling 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's going to audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Your tickets for the San Diego Giving Back raffle helps families at our local Ronald McDonald House stay close when their hospitalized child needs them most, and gives you a chance to win a multi-million-dollar Carlsbad Beach House, dream vacations, and so much more. Visit sdraffle.com to get your tickets today.
Don't miss the Aztecs Fast Showcase presented by Aztec Link on Saturday, April 19th at 1 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. Enjoy a round-robin tournament with games like dodgeball, tic-tac-toe, and a 7-on-7 competition. Now be sure to arrive early to meet student athletes and get autographs starting at noon. Admission is free. Simply visit goaztecs.com to claim your tickets to the Aztec Fast Showcase today. Again, that's goaztecs.com. Go Aztecs!
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
The new KFC Dunk It Bucket with juicy original recipe tenders, new mashed potato poppers, crispy fries, plus 3 sauces that fit right on top of the lid, so you can dunk anywhere. You can dunk at the game, dunk while security points to the no outside food sign, and dunk as 20,000 people watch you and your Dunk It Bucket get removed from the stadium. Dunk almost anywhere with the new $7 KFC Dunk It Bucket, or get the double Dunk It Bucket for $25. Prices and participation vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
San Diego Sports.
Now.
This sport is sponsored by the Jim Buttrell real estate team in the NBA. Per Shams Charania, Milwaukee's Damian Lillard has been cleared of his deep vein blood clot on blood thinning medication. He's out for game 1 Saturday against Indiana, but will have a period of time to resume contact workouts and ramp up for return. And Aaron Rodgers was on Pat McAfee today and is still unsure on his future. Says he has been talking to Mike Tomlin a lot. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855 600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
San Diego Sports 760 AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 right now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates do apply. Right now, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. We are joined by Ryan Lindley, who is in his 4th year as a coach on the Mesa. All-time leading passer in San Diego State football history. Really, really good dude. I believe briefly a teammate with Rich Ornberger in the NFL as well out in Arizona. But the Aztecs have something pretty cool coming up this weekend. It's the Aztec Fast Showcase out at Snapdragon Stadium, where it's a free event, free to the public. And they're doing a bunch of different kind of 7-on-7 drills. And then they're going to have 14 teams competing in a bunch of different competitions as kind of a way to introduce this year's squad to Aztec season ticket holders and Aztec fans in general. It's going to open up at 1 o'clock this Saturday, April 19th, out at Snapdragon Stadium. Free event to the public. Dodgeball, tic-tac-toe, quarterback accuracy, relay race, move the mountain, and punt and catch stations as well. It's going to be a lot of fun this Saturday out at Snapdragon. Excited to see our first look at this year's squad, especially with some of the new faces around. You think about who transferred in this offseason, and Jaden Denegal, Bert Emanuel Jr., Kyle Crum. Those are the quarterbacks right now. There's also a couple freshmen who are working for the job as well, but those guys all juniors or older as we kind of get going. Do we have Ryan? Not yet? All right, cool. Well, but those names are guys who come into the program. We'll see what Ryan thinks once he jumps on the show of who is going to be the next guy in the Scarlet and Black to lead this offense as it gets going. Obviously, last year, a bit of a disappointment for the Aztecs. You kind of wonder what the offseason program has been so far to try to fix some of those problems from a year ago. And right now, Ryan, I promise you, it was a great intro I gave you the first time around, but Ryan Lindley joining the show. How we doing, pal? Ben Fletcher, we've met a couple times. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, great to talk to you. I heard the beginning part. You started great. I'm sure you finished great.
Oh, it was a solid one, man.
I believe you.
So, Ryan, entering
your having me on.
Of course, entering your 4th season on the Mesa as a coach. How's the offseason been for you so far?
Man, I think we've gotten a lot better. You know, probably year over year, the most improvement I've seen us make in a winter to spring jump. You know, and I think it's all due to the fact that our guys have really bought in. You know, and the kids that we've brought in just since January. You know, younger guys, older guys. Obviously, the era of the transfer portal. We're right in the middle of our second one right now, and you know, our guys have bought into what we're about and what Coach Lewis is pushing for us. And you know, they want to win football games. They want to maintain the tradition that's been built up here over time, and they've taken ownership of it. So it's been really fun to watch.
I can't wait to get into the transfer portal with you. I'm curious your thoughts on it as a whole. But let's start with what's going down this Saturday out at Snapdragon Stadium. It's the Aztec Fast Showcase. 2nd year you guys have done this, but the format's tweaked quite a bit this year. There's going to be 14 teams of Aztec players, and it's a little bit of a skills competition, almost like the Pro Bowl has turned into, but should be a really cool opportunity for Aztec fans to get out there and kind of get their first look at the 2025 squad.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to come out to Snapdragon Stadium and get a chance to see how great of a facility that is, first and foremost, and see our guys go out and they're still going to compete. You know, how much football is being played is probably going to be limited to what you're used to in a spring game, but our guys are going to compete. They're going to play tic-tac-toe. We're going to we're going to do a whole lot of fun stuff, and a part of that camaraderie that I think has been built up is we've broken the team up into what we like to call boat teams and boat crews. And, you know, with each one of these guys, you know, it's groups of about 6 to 8, and, you know, they're going to work together and compete. So it's guys on different sides of the ball, different position groups that are all together, and they're going to compete. And essentially, by the end of it, like you said, it's a culmination of a skills challenge, and we're still going to have a winner and a loser, and we'll see who comes out on top and gets to eat some good food at the end of this thing.
So between all the 3 new quarterbacks on the roster, what each individual one, what do you think that their specific pros and cons are for each one? Who has the inside track for the job?
You know, it's tough for me to say. And with each one of those guys, like, you know, Coach Lewis uses a great term talking about every player, but specifically like the quarterback position or with us the tight ends, like, man, each guy's got his own superpower, you know, like I think to give, Kyle Crum some credit, he's a guy who's been here a long time in a lot of different systems. I think he's the leader in the clubhouse because he's been in the system a year. So he's also taken on a role, from what I know, talking to Coach Matt Johnson, our OC and quarterbacks coach. Like he's a coach too to those guys, and then, BJ Bert Emanuel, he's a phenomenal runner, man. I mean, he's probably one of our most explosive athletes on the team. And he's taking some serious strides. Each one of these guys taking ownership of the offense, moving the ball down the field, throwing it. So, JD came in, and you probably look at him, and man, he can throw it a mile. He's probably got the strongest arm of the group. And each one of them is kind of taking turns pushing the pack and leading that competition. And it's going to be fun to see that thing continue to play out. But I think they're all going to be able to give us a chance to win.
Jaden Denegal, Bert Emanuel Jr., Kyle Crum, looking like that's going to be the quarterback room for next year, but we'll see. There's always names that could be added coming up here in the spring portal. Ryan Lindley, the senior offensive analyst with the San Diego State Aztecs, entering his 4th year as a coach on the staff, joining us today on the Fletch Zone. Ryan, you look at the transfer portal, and you hit on it a little bit earlier, but just the way it's changed college football, that's where I actually think you have a pretty unique advantage, because you're only, 4 or 5 years into the coaching game, maybe a little bit more than that. And as you come over to San Diego State, this is sort of the era that you've gotten to know college football as a coach in. Do you think that that's a benefit for this Aztecs coaching staff, given that you yourself and Coach Sean Lewis, you're all on the younger side of what is a kind of an older game when it comes to coaches in college football? Do you guys have a little bit of an advantage in that sense?
Yeah, I think so. I think overall we're an energetic group. We're a group that's got a lot of juice, and I think, like you said, being a little younger, you understand some of the things obviously that have progressed in the game and how it's changed. In the business of the game, to be quite frank. And it is funny. I joke. Demetrius Sumler, our cornerback coach, he's essentially the longest tenured coach on the Mesa right now, and I GA'd for him, but he's only about 2 years older than me, so we're starting to call him Uncle Son. So it is a younger group, but I think the biggest thing, I think that we're going to always continue to be able to thrive in whatever environment college football is sitting in. Is, obviously it's a great place to go to school and play football. There's a storied tradition, and I think we're going to continue to develop people, so whether that's a Seth Adams, who I'm coaching right now in the tight end room, who's got 1 year, wants to play really good football and give himself an opportunity to play at the highest level. He wants to develop this year. There's a guy, Jackson Ford, we just brought in. The same thing is really at the forefront of his mind. He's just an 18-year-old freshman going on to his sophomore year. So I think the biggest thing that we're always going to continue to sell, and what our guys are going to get, is that you get an opportunity to get developed by some guys that are really high level, that have coached guys at the highest of levels and had a ton of success, from Coach Lewis to Zach Barton to Rob Orich, our defensive coordinator. Like we got a great staff and a great group of guys that are going to develop guys wholly as football players and human beings. And I think that's, whatever the recruiting is, which 10 years ago was just high school and JUCO, and now it's high school, JUCO, 4-year, every variety of football. We got to go comb the country right now and see what guys can help us out, give us an opportunity to win football games in the fall.
When you scout quarterbacks, what's the number one trait that you look for?
Yeah, it's tough to say. Like, I think you gotta find something different. That's kind of why I say when you look at our guys, each guy's gonna have a superpower, and you kind of go a sliding scale off of that. So, I think Matt Johnson does an awesome job. Like, I've learned a lot from him and what he's looking for, and Coach Lewis is looking for in guys to run our offense. Like, I think the number one thing, obviously, is you want a guy who's a facilitator. Coach Matty J likes to use the term different pitches, right? Which, like, you got to be able to put touch on the ball sometimes. You got to put zip on it. Other times you got to drop it over the top. So I think the number one thing that is universal at that position is you got to be accurate. Your job is to put the ball in playmakers' hands. And to do that, you got to put it on the money and put it in the right spot. Sometimes those windows are wide open and sometimes they're tight. But it's your job to put it in the right spot to get those guys running downfield and making a play with it.
Ryan Lindley joining us today on San Diego Sports 760. He's the senior offensive analyst out at San Diego State for football. Ryan, you look at last year's team, obviously it ends up being a bit of a disappointment with the 4-win season, but there's stuff to grow on. And you look at last year's team, there was never any quit in the squad. And I thought you were right in there with some of those games, especially early on in the year against Oregon State. Going into year 2, what are some of the things you guys have done as a coaching staff to address some of the weaknesses on the squad, getting ready for year 2 under the Sean Lewis era?
Well, I'll start with something that really isn't about anything on the field, at least immediately. And I think, it's our group is so much more connected, and that's the kind of a word that everybody, coaches, players, have been using as of late. And to jump back into the portal conversation, we're going to add some guys every winter that are going to jump into the squad that are brand new, and guys that need to play for us and contribute. So, back in the day, to yell at the wind, like, you grew up with guys and you got to over time build those bonds and relationships. Well, we've spent a lot of time, and Coach Lewis has done an awesome job creating that camaraderie, and you almost got to force it. You got to have guys, we call it non-football meetings where, hey, we're not going to talk about football. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about things that, approach of how we're going to grow as human beings and football players. But it's allowed our guys who just got to know each other 4 months ago probably build relationships a lot faster than they ever had in their college experience. So therefore, when things get tough on the football field, we're going to play a heck of a lot better. We're going to play a heck of a lot closer. So to me, that's one thing when you look at us, some of those games that we dropped, whether it was in the fourth quarter or just couldn't finish or, find a way, we're just one score short. I think this group's going to find a way to stick together through those games and find a way to come out on the right side of it. So, it's not football. It's not X's and O's I'm giving you, but I just think this group of guys is as tight as any group I've seen in the last couple of years that we've had on the Mesa.
And culture is always number one for me. It feels like the most important thing. You got that, everything else kind of falls into place, especially when you got guys like Trey White and Tano Lutuli returning on the defensive end. And then a guy I'm really looking to take a step forward this year in a big way, Ryan, is Lucky Sutton, the running back out of San Diego. I believe it was Cathedral Catholic. Had a nice year one. You were on that coaching staff. And then last year, obviously, with Marquez getting the bulk share of the carries, Lucky kind of fell back on the depth chart a little bit. Lucky Sutton, is that a dude this year who you're looking to pop a little bit?
Man, I'm excited for him. And there's a sense of pride in me personally, too. Just not only the former player, but also San Diegan that, those three guys you listed are hometown heroes now. They're guys that decided to stay home and don the red and black and take a lot of pride in that. And Lucky has stepped into that role. I think you've seen him, and it's really fun. Like you said, 2 years ago, he kind of carved out a short yardage role for himself, did really well, took some strides, made some jumps. Then I think something in the transition for him schematically in the system, I think he needed a year to really sit under Coach Hagan and learn and watch how Marquez ran the football. And I think the jump that you've seen from him from last fall to this winter to this spring is enormous. And I think, there's a ton of potential we've all seen in Lucky Sutton for a long time. And obviously everybody who ever watched him run at Cathedral knows that he has a ton of talent. I think you're finally going to see it all get put together this fall and be on full display. So I'm really excited for Lucky. He's a great kid, San Diego guy, so I'm always going to be biased for him. But, man, it's finally all coming together for him, and I'm really excited to see him continue on this trajectory.
Can't wait for him, man. I feel like with you talking about him just now, you could almost see a highlight package of Lucky Sutton throughout his time in high school. A couple of those touchdowns he scored in his freshman season, playing in the background. It's going to be fun to watch him develop next year in the Scarlet and Black. Someone who probably turned down a little bit of cash to stay here at San Diego State. Ryan, appreciate your time, man. I'll see you on Saturday out at the Aztec Fast Showcase. Again, free to the public. Get your first look at this 2025 squad that you and Sean Lewis and all the boys out there on the Mesa have been working for. And I really can't wait for it, man. Should be a hell of a time on Saturday. Thank you for your time.
Well, we can't wait for it either. Thank you so much. We're fired up. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And listen, the Padres aren't in town, so come on down, hang out, and then we'll all watch them win another one that night, okay?
Yeah, love it. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate your time as always. Ryan Lindley, the leadingest all-time passer at San Diego State, now on the coaching staff, the senior offensive analyst for them. I'm excited for this San Diego State football team because a couple of those guys we just mentioned staying in San Diego. I'm calling it right now, Sammy. Biggest pop, Lucky Sutton. From what Ryan was just talking about to what I've seen, we saw him as a freshman do it, man. This is now 2 years of him just building up that athleticism, building up that strength. Lucky Sutton might have a 1,000-yard season on his hands.
Well, he's got the star-making name, too, so he's primed for it.
It is a great name. And he's a little bit taller. He's got a big downhill running back body. I think
you
Lucky
should get an
Sutton.
Endorsement with what's that Lucky Sevens?
The jeans?
No, the slot machines.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that gambling and college football goes together too good, Sammy, but it's a good call.
Maybe we can start a trend here at San Diego State.
I like where your head's at. Maybe a little NIL deal for Lucky Sutton. All right, we're going to take a quick break. By the way, those Lucky jeans, did you ever have a pair of those?
No, the ones that Favre had? Or were those
I don't
Wrangler?
know if Favre had them up. Favre was Wrangler guy, but those they were Lucky jeans. That was a brand name. And then when you had the zipper, on the inside of the zipper, it just said Lucky You. All right, San Diego Sports 760. We got long shots on the other side. For once, I was right. Sammy was wrong. We'll talk about it. Coming up next, San Diego Sports 760.
San Diego Sports Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air.
There's a stall reported on the South 805 Orange Avenue off-ramp. The North 15 carpool lane will occasionally close from the 56th to Rancho Bernardo Road until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. South 5 a bit busy before Harbor Drive to Oceanside Boulevard. I'm Mark Zegan, San Diego Traffic.
Rebate funds are running out fast. Don't get left behind.
Wait, what? My old water heater is still here. Relax. At Anderson Plumbing, we're buying back your old water heater and giving you $500 in instant savings. Call Anderson PHA today. Nobody wows clients like we do.
Drinking sugary drinks can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. Visit uncoverhealthyhabits.com for more.
Here's an important tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Safe driving saves money and lives. Aggressive driving like speeding, rapid acceleration, and sudden braking wastes gas and rarely gets you to your destination faster. It can lower your gas mileage by up to 30% on highways and 40% in stop-and-go traffic. So, slow down. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. For more sustainable living tips or to take action in your own community, visit iHeartRadio.com/earth.
Autism isn't just one thing. It's many things. Autism is recognizing our strengths and not being defined by our struggles. It's meeting challenges, big and small, and inspiring a more equitable and inclusive future. Autism is being accepted and loved for exactly who we are. For resources and to support our mission, go to autismsociety.org. The Autism Society of America, celebrating 60 years.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-495-1529. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-495-1529 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-495-1529. 800-495-1529. 800-495-1529.
About this for over 30 years. West Automotive Group has made getting your vehicle serviced or repaired easy because who's got time for this? Take it to a place where their philosophy is never to put money ahead of people. And some of the unbelievable ways that they care for customers include a transmission Certicare diagnosis by a certified transmission expert, free shuttle rides to or from work or your house, or a low-cost rental vehicle if you need it. Let's be reminded of what great service feels like. 5 locations to serve you. WestAutomotiveGroup.com.
Hi, I'm Nicole Donnelly, and for 34 years, I've owned and managed Miramar Kitchen and Bath alongside my husband, Martin.
We treat every project like it's our own home, and we'll be with you every step of the way.
When you choose Miramar Kitchen and Bath for your kitchen or bathroom remodel, you're working directly with a husband and wife team who care about every detail. Because this isn't just business for us, it's personal.
At Miramar Kitchen and Bath, we believe your experience matters. That's why our experience matters.
Miramar Kitchen and Bath.
Contractor's license 657333.
For more information about contests on this station, go to sportsSD.com/rules.
Save on Cox Internet when you add Cox Mobile. Go to Cox.com.
San Diego Sports 760. It's the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Sammy got kicked off the jury about as fast as you possibly could, so he made it in time for the show today. Thought I wasn't going to happen.
I'm excited I'm back for the show, but I don't I served, but I didn't.
Sammy texted me this morning, or maybe I texted him, and he was hoping for a murder. He really was.
No, I wanted something cool. Not that murder's cool, but it's something interesting. It's something that we can sit there and all debate. Oh, did he or she do it? Not like, oh, this guy, I don't know.
So
it's committed tax fraud. Like, who cares? Like, that's I don't want these white collar crimes. We want something good.
We're gonna get
juicy
to long shots in just a second, which is good and which is juicy. But I wanted to bring everyone's attention to this real quick. If you don't follow Darren Rovell on X, he's a pretty good follow because he kind of takes the things that we care about as sports fans and he puts it into these really concise little messages. The Miami Marlins are really struggling to put some fans in their crowd. I saw a picture yesterday from Miami. I think it was Miami. It may have been Tampa Bay, but I'm pretty sure it was Miami. They had about 7,000 people in attendance in a stadium that sits 40,000 people. And so it just looks awful on TV, but they're trying to attract some people. The ultimate $85 hot dog tower. 4 hot dogs, 4 Polish dogs, 4 corn dogs, and a loaded French fry sausage hot dog little mess that's just sitting on the top. This thing looks like heaven. This thing looks like Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. And Sammy, if you want to have a cheat day one time, we could destroy this thing.
Where is this at?
Miami Marlins ballpark.
Well, they got to
look at that beauty.
See, if I want to go to Miami, I want like a Cuban sandwich or something.
You just want to go to Miami for the ladies. We all know, Sammy.
Well, yeah, but also a Cuban sandwich. If I'm in Miami, I'm not eating a hot dog. I'm going and getting some Cuban
spice.
spice.
I've had a Cuban sandwich in Miami, and it really let me down. I went in with really high expectations. Maybe I went to the wrong type of place. Maybe I'm just a loser, but it really let me down. The coffee in Miami, some of the best I've ever had in my life.
Right, Cuban coffee.
Yeah, but the Cuban sandwich.
A Cuban cigar. Definitely want to try that.
I don't think those are legal. Are they?
They're not?
I don't think so.
Seinfeld, it was legal.
Barely. Yeah, we'll see. You got prize picks ready to go?
We do. We have a soft sports day. So we had to go searching. This is a very, very particular lineup.
Tell me we got some international women's tennis or some darts.
Oh
or
yeah, I
wacky.
got locks for international.
Maybe some
women's
KBO
tennis.
action. Maybe some e-gaming action. I'd love to see it.
That's not a sport.
All right, so yesterday, watch yourself, dude. Those guys are making some money e-gaming.
You can make money dancing too. That doesn't mean it's I guess actually, I take that back. Dancing's actually a sport because that's actually competitive. When you don't have any exertion physically, because dancers actually do. I don't want to say like your thumbs are tired. Stop.
I'd say e-gamers are athletes. I really think they are, man. They're pretty good at what they do. All right, every single day, 12:45. Today, 12:52. We do something called Long Shots, where Sammy Long takes you through some daily fantasy sports that you can enter on your own. I like to use Prize Picks. Sammy likes to use Prize Picks. You could use promo code Fletch and get a free $50. Maybe make that your first entry. But Sammy, hit the button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's Long Shots.
I'm telling you, man, you might want to take a look at some of these e-gaming props. You got kill to death ratio on Call of Duty.
I don't feel comfortable giving those out. We're trying to make money.
I think Verdansk is back, so that's what they're doing right now. Where are we heading?
No one, if you haven't played Call of Duty, no one understands that reference.
Yeah, but someone did, and they love it.
Okay.
Text line 70470. Start your message with C. Did you get the Verdansk reference?
Oh no.
Warzone, baby.
Okay. All right. You got to get this one in quick because this game starts in 11 minutes. Philly, San Francisco, one of the most entertaining baseball games of the day. Padres are off. A lot of the NL West is off. No NBA tonight. So we're going in the weeds a little bit. Bryce Harper, though. Red Demon, more than 1.5 total bases. They need to get back. The Giants have really been on a tear recently and dominated this series so far. I think Bryce Harper has a big game tonight. And then on the other side, my second pick, this goes in correlation with this. Jordan Hicks, pitcher for San Francisco, less than 4.5 strikeouts. He had a better last game, really struggled in his second and third starts before, 2-3 starts ago. Not believing in Jordan Hicks. I think this is a high-scoring game. If you got a money line somewhere, I'd hit the over. The run total set at 7.5. So 4.5 pitcher strikeouts for Jordan Hicks, less than Bryce Harper, more than 1.5 total bases, Red Demon. Then we're hitting a little hockey tonight. This is the last day of the regular season. All the playoff matchups are set. Darcy Kemper for the LA Kings versus Calgary, less than 23.5 goalie saves. They're not playing for anything. Every single thing is locked in the NHL. So tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if they flip the goalie in the second intermission, something like that. I don't think you're going to be exerting a lot. They already got the matchup against Edmonton, which will get going on Monday night. So a lot of these, you could make some money in the NHL tonight betting unders on a lot of players because all the stars are not going to be trying hard tonight. Again, getting that recovery ready for the weekend where the playoffs start on Saturday, I believe, or Sunday, which we're all very excited.
You know what I like about this one? You didn't overthink anything.
We just went a solid 3.
A solid 3. I think yesterday we might have overthought things a little bit. Today?
Yesterday, I actually was on with Schaefer later in the day, and I gave my NBA picks, and I said, I was like, the Bulls are going to win in a tight one. They got slaughtered by 30. And then I said Sacramento's going to blow out the Mavs. So we had a tough day gambling yesterday, but
Anthony Davis went less than. We got that.
Yeah, I needed Kobe White breaks a couple threes at the end of that game, which sold our thing. So to recap, though, parlay, Bryce Harper, more than 1.5 total bases, Red Demon. Jordan Hicks, pitcher for the San Francisco Giants, less than 4.5 pitcher strikeouts. Darcy Kemper for the LA Kings, goalie, less than 23.5 goalie saves.
All right, we got Darnay Trip coming up next, but right now let's do a little giveaway. You want to go to the Lakeside Rodeo, the 61st annual Lakeside Rodeo. These tickets are good for Thursday, April 24th. That's next Thursday, a week from today. Enjoy 4 days of bull riding, steer wrestling, exciting events. Tickets at lakesiderodeo.com. Call number 6 right now. You are heading out to the Lakeside Rodeo, and hell, I might even buy you a beer because I will be there too. Lakeside Rodeo tickets right now. Caller number 6, 877-767-4760. It's San Diego Sports 760. Darnay Trip from NBC coming up next.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803. Don't wait. Call now. 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention all current and former firefighters, including civilian and military firefighters. If you or someone you love was exposed to chemical-based firefighting foam, or AFFF, and were diagnosed with cancers such as bladder, kidney, prostate, testicular, and pancreatic cancer, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Text now to see if you qualify. Chemical-based firefighting foam, or AFFF, has been used for decades to fight fires because it's highly effective at extinguishing petroleum and jet fuel fires. But studies have shown that chemicals used to make AFFF are highly toxic to humans. The Centers for Disease Control and the American Cancer Society have reported that these chemicals may be linked to various cancers. If you or someone you love was exposed to chemical-based firefighting foam, even if it was during military training, text now as you may be entitled to significant compensation. Don't wait. Time is limited. Text CASE to 323232 to see if you qualify. Text CASE to 323232. CASE to 323232.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More, the place to go for sipping rosés with seltzers on ice, making margaritas with your favorite tequilas. It's warm out, let's go. Our prices are low on spirits, beer, and wine. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 5/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store single line activation on qualifying plan. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
RCP Block and Brick is your #1 source for hardscape and masonry supplies. Their expert team helps contractors and DIYers get the job done right with the largest selection of professional-grade products in town. Family-owned, trusted since 1947. Start your project today with RCP Block and Brick.
The championship is back in the Bay for the first time in 40 years.
On the new limited podcast series, Dub Dynasty, we hear from head coach Steve Kerr on how Steph Curry almost never even joined the Warriors.
In fact, I thought we had a draft day deal to end up getting him to Phoenix.
For the entire behind-the-scenes story of Golden State's incredible 10-year run, open your free iHeartRadio app, search Dub Dynasty, and listen now.
San Diego Sports 760 has your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website.
Grand
grand. Enter it now at sportssd.com. KGB and KGB FM HD2 San Diego. Number 1 on your car radio preset. And on the new and improved iHeartRadio app. We never sounded so good.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres finished their series against the Cubs yesterday with a 4-2 victory. They'll be back in action Friday night, starting at 5:10. Kyle Hart will be going for the Padres against Ryan Gusto for the Astros. The Astros are currently minus 130 on the money line, and the run total is set at 8.5. Anderson's Drain Stoppage Guarantee solves issues for $63, or it's on the house. Nobody wows clients like they do. Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air has been privileged to serve over 500,000 residential clients for more than 45 years. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
The following takes place between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m.
Now it's time to enter the Fletch Zone.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. We got Darnay Tripp, who's going to be jumping on in just a little bit. Talk some Padres, talk some Aztecs, talk some TV with Darnay Tripp, who works on TV, so he probably knows everything about it. But I just started Black Mirror season 7, I think we're at. The first 2 episodes, woo, girl, they're good, man. Highly recommend Black Mirror, the newest season out on Netflix now. In terms of my Call of Duty comment from the last segment, 949 would like to respond and say, no, I do not know what Verdansk is. I talk to women and touch grass. Cool, dude. But have you ever killed zombies before in Call of Duty? Because it's a lot of fun. Maybe you should look into it one time. Appreciate you listening to 949. I really do. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to get into some pods with Darnay Tripp coming up in just a second. Still have those Hardy tickets that we're going to give away May 22nd out at the North Island Credit Union Open, or the Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. But if you want to go see Hardy, just keep hanging on for a little bit. The coach, John Kentera, is going to join the show coming up at 1:30. Darnay Tripp joining the show in just a second. And I got to say, we got ESPN up here in studio on the TV, and they were counting down the 10 best shots in NBA postseason history. And I did not see Derek Fisher once. I did not see Robert Horry once. Ray Allen had the number 1 shot of all time. Michael Jordan was number 2 on his push-off against the Utah Jazz. And yes, it was a push-off, but it was also an easy shot for MJ. So kind of as you look at the best shots in NBA history in the postseason, Kyrie Irving was not on that list.
Yeah, I need to see. Oh, answering the phone.
Kyrie Irving wasn't on the list. Robert Horry wasn't on the list. I don't know what we're doing here, but they had a bunch of shots that I don't know that they're nearly as good as some of the shots that we've seen in NBA postseasons over the years. And we'll see if we get a good one this year. I don't know. I'm hoping. I do have a lot of hope for these NBA playoffs. The play-in games have been good until last night, which kind of sucked. Really, the Warriors game was the good one. All right, Darnay Tripp, NBC 7, joining the show. Darnay, who is the father of twins, who is a loving husband. Darnay, before we get into any sort of Padres talk, you're also the son-in-law of one of the best bakers in the world. Before we get into any Padres talk, when you put the twins to bed, you and the wife are sitting there on the couch. What's on your TV these days?
Oh, that's a good question. We're into the cooking competition shows.
Nice.
And both Top Chef and Tournament of Champions are going on right now. So we're watching both those, and we've also been watching Hacks. I don't know if you've watched Hacks.
Hacks is fantastic.
It's a good.
Yes. So we're getting caught up on that. We're early on, I think, in season 3. So that's where we're at right now.
If I can recommend Black Mirror, it's phenomenal, man. 2 episodes into the newest season, it's kind of blowing everything away right now. All right, Darnay, let's talk about these pods, because yesterday I feel like was a nice bounce back, because 2 days ago I feel like they sort of got away from the grittiness, the Mike Schultziness of what this team has been so far this year, and then yesterday right back at it. Pavetta stomping around the mound. Fernando's getting an infield single RBI. Bullpen stays clutch like they've been all year, sub-2 ERA on the season. It's been pretty impressive to see how Mike Schultz culture has taken place in terms of the games they've won so far this year have all kind of been the Mike Schultz way.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think you're right on. Like yesterday was a great example of that. Coming off a game Tuesday, that was a bit of a bummer. That felt like one of the kind of rare instances where they were just sort of flat from start to finish, with the exception of Manny's swing. And then they come back yesterday, and yeah, some missed opportunities early in the game. Once again, Nick Pivetta was awesome, as Manny said after the game. he kept them in it and gave the bats time to come around. And that's exactly what they did. And, having Tyler Wade show up, kind of poetic, doesn't make the roster, starts the season in El Paso, comes up because of Merrill and Lockridge. They show that depth, and the guy that was the spark for them and did a lot of the little things throughout the season last year, kind of part of that grid squad mentality, does some big things. It wasn't like his contributions yesterday were subtle. He gets on base 4 times, scores a couple runs, couple hits, and, is able to kind of do what they need him to do defensively as well. And so I think it was really impressive. And yeah, that's been very much kind of like the hallmark, the calling card of Mike Schildt's teams. And I've been really impressed just with the way that it's carried over. They've functioned very similarly to what they did or how they did last year. And it makes sense. Got a lot of the same guys back, a lot of the core, star type players with the exception of Jerks and Profar. But I don't think it can be overlooked just the way that it's felt kind of seamless going from last regular season to this. And not surprised when you consider that they've had the success that they've had so far.
Have you been surprised that the bullpen has been this good, even with the loss of Tanner Scott in the offseason, or is this kind of an anomaly to you?
Maybe a little bit. I think, not having Tanner Scott, certainly, but, there's enough guys. Robert Suarez now at this point, pretty established as one of the better closers in the game. We saw the promise of Jeremiah Estrada. Jason Adam was awesome last year. Adrian Marhone kind of had a breakthrough last year. And so, you could assume or understand that, like, if they continued on that trajectory, that the bullpen would still be really good. If guys continue, especially younger guys like Morahone and Estrada, if those guys continue to improve, Yuki Matsui in his second season, and you've seen that. And so they definitely had the guys. It was just kind of maybe different roles, different responsibilities, a little bit more on their plate without a Tanner Scott, and it's been really impressive.
Darnay Tripp, NBC7, joining the show. Darnay, I feel like while I'm watching Padres games, every time something happens, I go to my phone. And on Twitter or X, it's either you or Jim Russell that pops up every single time. And the Jim ones, I just ignore. But your tweets are usually really, really good. And you had my favorite one of the season yesterday, that we got robbed of the ABS during the 2025 MLB season. Like, why didn't they just institute it? It didn't seem like that much of a hindrance in spring training. And there's been a few times this year, especially when Fernando's up at bat, where I feel like he should be reaching for his helmet right away.
I kind of forgot even early in the season that that they weren't doing it until 2026, just because I got so accustomed to it during spring training. And it seemed like a really easy thing to add and to incorporate in games. There's some, funny moments during spring and obviously some guys that, maybe weren't as enthusiastic about it, but it just seemed like kind of a natural fit to me. And so once the season rolled around and we'd seen it for like a month and a half worth of spring training games, it just felt like a natural part of the game. I get them kind of taking their time and not rushing into it. But I do think, like, just based on what we saw during the spring, fans seem to have fun with it. Players, I think seem to like having the opportunity to challenge the refs, in those big spots. And I think it would be, it's going to add some intrigue, some drama. There's going to be guys that in the emotions, heat of the moment, make a boneheaded call or use one of their challenges. And it's going to be like a timeout in football, somebody burns a timeout in the first, third quarter or something like that, it's going to burn them in the fourth. I think we're going to see that as well. So I think it'll add an extra layer to the game. And I wish we had it right away, because I really liked having it as a part of Major League Baseball when we had it during the spring.
Looking at the NL West, how good they've been, all top 4 teams are legit contenders. Do you think the Padres are the best of the pack, maybe minus the Dodgers, considering they're won the World Series last year?
Based on what we're seeing so far, I think the Giants are off to a better start than I think a lot of people expected. They made some additions during the offseason. Diamondbacks is a team that I think people expected, from an outside standpoint, to potentially finish ahead of the Padres. But the Padres have just been so dialed. And again, it just feeling like a carryover from what they did last regular season. Whereas Arizona last year, they caught fire, towards the end and were kind of in step with the Padres. But I think, if memory serves, the Padres had a longer stretch really from like right after the All-Star break or even going into June where they were playing really, really good baseball. And so that seems real. And based on what we saw for, 62 games, 43 and 19 to finish the season last year, with the way they've started, the way Tatis and Machado have played so far. You mentioned the bullpen, Nick Pivetta. I think there's reason to believe at this point that it's probably going to be the Padres and Dodgers. But, as we know, and this has kind of been in the back of my mind, and Nick Pivetta even said it yesterday, like, it's early. Like, let's not get too excited. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's understand it's a long season. It is early. Remember the start the Rays got out to, was it last year or the year before, where they just simply didn't lose. And, they seemed to kind of run out of steam as the season went on. So hopefully that's not the case with the Padres, but with a 162-game season, that's something you have to kind of keep in mind, especially coming off of last year where it was kind of the reverse. We were expecting better things from this team, and they finally got clicking. It's definitely a marathon. We'll have to see how it all plays out.
Darnay Tripp, NBC 7, also host of the On Friar podcast. Quick departure from the Padres here, Darnay, before we get you out of here. Aztecs basketball has been on quite the run over the last couple of weeks. After, like Sammy said yesterday perfectly, the sky was falling after that first 4 loss. And then you think Magoon's gone, he comes back. You think Miles Bird might be gone, he's announced he's coming back. Nick Boyd does leave, but they replaced that with Sean Newman Jr. They replaced that with Latrell Davis. And now they get this commit from the 4-star shooting guard out of St. John Bosco. Do you know anything about this guy, Elsie Harrington, what he's promising to come for the Aztecs?
Not too much. I mean, other than just kind of what a lot of people have seen and heard, the highlights coming from, one of those high schools. Like we're all familiar with the name of that school.
Right.
So, that usually says something. 4-star recruit, a lot of Pac-12, or I guess, Big Ten interest now, Big 12 interest as it relates to ASU. And yeah, I think just kind of the size, like 6'5", 6'6". The little I've seen, a guy that can score at different levels, very crafty, and seems like he could be a really impactful player. And so, I think they've done a good job, and I think the Aztecs in general have done a good job of having a mix of those veteran guys, but then like really promising young pieces. And it was fun this year, maybe more so than years past, seeing guys like Farrell Compton and Taj DeGorville get real minutes, because Dutch historically has kind of taken it slow with those freshmen. I don't know if you can really get away with that anymore in the NIL transfer portal era, because guys, if they're not playing, they're just going to leave. And so you want to take advantage of that talent when they're around. And so hopefully that's the case now with another really promising freshman coming in on top of the group that you have. And I think the promising thing, you bring in Newman, but I hope there's opportunity. It seems like they want there to be opportunity for Taj DeGorville, because he was really, really impressive at points. And so I'm excited to see how he and Compton develop in year 2. But the big headline is Magoon. I mean, regardless of what happened around the team this offseason, having Magoon Guas is so crucial, because you can maybe find another Nick Boyd. You could maybe find another Miles Bird. You're not going to find another Magoon Guas. And so, hopefully, if things go their way, he's back on the Mesa this year after testing the NBA waters, and can see him continue to develop.
Darnay Tripp, you're the best, man. I don't know how much you watch of NBC 7. I know you're on NBC 7, but have you noticed that new commercial that you guys are running with those 3 really handsome guys in the morning on a radio station here in town?
Oh, really? No, I've missed that commercial.
Oh, man, it's good.
Thank you, Darnay, for not inflating his ego more. Come on.
I don't know if you've heard of that show, Big Rich T and Fletch, but those guys are really good, man. They got a commercial running on NBC 7 right now. It's pretty good. If you get a chance to check it out, Darnay.
It's a legendary trio. Maybe one day they'll even have me on their show, but we'll see. I don't know.
Maybe
it might come true. We'll see.
We'll see, Darnay. Thank you for your time, man. I really do appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, Darnay Tripp, NBC 7. He's a good dude, man. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get Sammy Long's official first big 3 of the day. Hasn't given us one yet. But Sammy, you ready for a big 3 coming up next?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, Sammy's ready. It's San Diego Sports 760. Quick break.
San Diego Sports Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay. 15 before Miramar Way, possible car fire, center divide west. 78 at Jefferson, crash, center divide partially in that left lane. South Bay, South 5 before Palomar Street. There's a collision out of the left lane. It looks like it's now in the center divide. Mark Zegan, San Diego traffic.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
Are your money skills total trash? Well, you are not alone. Personal finance ignorance is as American as apple pie. But don't fret. The How to Money podcast is here to help you improve.
Think, Matt, if your emergency fund was invested, especially given the volatility we're experiencing right now. Ouchies.
Investing, it is ultimately a necessity, but you got to keep that emergency fund accessible. It needs to be cash parked in your savings.
It's time to increase your money knowledge. And the How to Money podcast is here to bring the wisdom. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search How to Money, and start listening today.
Hey guys, it's John and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
Yeah, join Jamul Casino for their Sunset Trivia every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and compete for prizes at your favorite casino. Plus, enjoy 50% off classic sushi, nigiri, hand rolls, and more, and any of their featured ramen bowls every Tuesday through Thursday, now through May 23rd. Exclusions do apply.
Easter brunch this weekend at Prime Cut as well. It's the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-495-1529. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-495-1529 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-495-1529. 800-495-1529. 800-495-1529.
Use your associate or bachelor's degree and behavioral health experience to make a difference for California's youth as a certified wellness coach. Visit cawellnesscoach.org to learn more. Supported by the California Department of Healthcare Access and Information.
Wait, before you dig, know what's below. CPL specializes in utility locating to keep your projects safe. Visit cpldetection.com. Again, that's cpldetection.com. CPL, the company contractors trust.
Hello? I'm a Marine.
No matter how you served.
My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
No matter what you're going through.
I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
We are here for you. If you or a veteran in your life is experiencing thoughts of suicide, dial 988, then press 1 to reach the Veterans Crisis Line.
It's John and Jim.
The winning continues, Jim, but so do the injuries. With now Lockridge and Merrill and Cronenworth and Darvish all sitting on the IL at the same time, just 2.5 weeks into the season.
Real Padres talk.
It's the next man up mentality with this team. It's just going to have to be like that until, these guys come back from injury. And I think they have enough to overcome it in the short term.
Weekdays at 2. San Diego Sports. 760. America's finest sports station.
STFC back on the pitch on Saturday night, taking on Charlotte FC on the road. You can hear the match live Saturday night starting at 4 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. All right, we're going to get a big three from Sammy Long coming up here in just a couple seconds. But did we all see Don and Mud go like mega viral yesterday on MLB's TikTok account? Sammy, did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. It's so cool.
It's Don Orsillo's new thing he's been doing this year. It's his all down by way of the K, but he looks like an insane person when he says it. I really appreciate the fact that we have Don and Mud in our lives. I'll just say that because 162 games is a really, really long time. You need to be entertained by something more than just baseball. And luckily, the Padres have given us a lot of entertainment this year, but there's also the first 6 innings of a game. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's kind of a grind if you're watching every single one of these. And Don and Mud make it very much less so of a grind. So I appreciate them. MLB's official TikTok account put out a post yesterday of Don Orsillo and a compilation of his strikeout calls and said, and I quote, "The Padres broadcast booth is so unserious." And that's probably one of their Gen Z or TikTok managers who's doing that. But I love how unserious Don and Mud are because they ride that line perfectly, man. You're going to laugh during these broadcasts. You're going to learn a lot. Mud, actually a very smart guy. He's chaotic. He's crazy. He likes to have a disco ball in the booth. But the way he talks about baseball makes it very, very approachable. I really like what we got in the Padres broadcast booth. Thank God. Hopefully they're all locked up for the next 15, 20 years. Because I can't really imagine watching a full season of Padres baseball or any baseball without having a lot of love for those broadcasters.
Yeah, well, people complain wherever. I mean, if guys are too serious, then they're not joking. Especially in baseball, to your point. I mean, it's 162 games. It's like you're inviting them into your homes every day. It's like watching a great TV show. It's like you're watching it every night. So, yeah, no, it's fantastic. It was cool seeing them get their love going viral.
I know, they popped off big time. All right, let's get to the big three. Hour number 2. We got the biggest sports stories in the world, and hopefully there's some Ash and Jancy involved in this because I love this one. But Sammy Long, why don't we press that button?
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
You can follow us on X at Fletch and Sammy. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. That stays live all day long, 12 to 6, between the Fletch Zone, me and Sammy, and then John and Jim a little bit later on. Sammy, where are we starting with hour 2?
Ashton Genty sends a note to all NFL teams making a plea saying take the guy who no one can tackle and basically insinuating that he will do what Saquon Barkley did for the Eagles last year. Are we buying this? Do we think he's overhyped? Is it just right? Where do we feel about this?
I love it. That dude, he posted a shirtless picture also recently. He looks even bigger than he did in college. Ashton Jancy is a stud, man. I think he's going to be, or whatever NFL team drafts him is going to be very lucky to do so. And I don't know why more guys don't do this. Like you talk about this season where it's all smoke screens and it's all whatever NFL GMs or anyone is saying at this point is probably a lie. Ashton Jancy getting his name out there right now is the right thing to do. Now, my question for everyone, is Ashton Jancy the first player off the boards in Dynasty redrafts this year?
Oh, that's it. I don't know because I think Amari and Hampton's gonna have something to say about that. I think
Maybe.
Bo Scatabo. I think there's a lot. Hell, Travion Henderson round 2. There's a lot of really good running backs. Quinshon Judkins. There's a lot of sleeper running backs in this class. But
is anyone going to have the impact that he's going to have year one, especially with where he's going to land? Whether that's the Raiders, like he could end up being the number one choice in an offense.
Here's my only problem with this. And this is not ripping Genty. I like what he did, sending a note to teams. It's unfair, no matter what you think about Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders, and if you like them, if you can't stand them, whatever. But there's reports yesterday about how Shedeur Sanders is coming off as egotistical and meetings with stuff, and his ego's through the roof.
That was Albert Breer who reported that.
Albert Breer reported that.
He don't miss, man.
Genty is being confident. Genty's saying, I'm the guy, draft me, and everyone's like, yeah, this is fantastic. Shedeur says in the thing, like, hey, I'm built for – I read his quote in the meetings. He said, I'm built for the big markets. I've had to deal with this every day since being my dad. Everyone's doubted me, and all of a sudden he comes off as egotistical and his head's through the roof. I think it's a little bit the double standard we hold for these two players.
It's the position. It's all the position. You want your running back to be a cocky jerk. You want him to think that nobody can tackle you. Quarterbacks, you want them to be measured, very thoughtful, very – cerebral. You want them to be heady, like all those words, the buzzwords around the NFL draft. That's what you want out of quarterbacks.
Yeah, but I think it's unfair because you go look at Tom Brady. He had a big personality. Yeah, he was good at the mic. He would be screaming guys down. Peyton Manning, same thing. I mean, we've seen Michael Vick. We've seen a lot of
not before they were drafted.
Well, Brady got taken with the for Rodgers 100%.
Well, yeah, Roger. Why do you think Rodgers fell? Why do you think so many teams passed on him? Yeah, it ended up being a mistake, but like he fell.
It was
for
a massive
reason.
mistake.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying in general, I think it's ridiculous how we hold these pre-draft meetings and it's their ego. Yeah, they're about to be an NFL superstar quarterback. like going to the NFL, be 1-32. I understand the big ego.
All right, let's rip through these next two. What's number 2?
All right, number 2, going to Aaron Rodgers, actually. Still undecided on his future, says Pat McAfee today. He says he's been in contact with Mike Tomlin, but that he is in a serious relationship and all of his decisions to be taken with more of a grain of salt. How done are we with Aaron Rodgers? I am
done.
so dude, just retire. Go host Jeopardy. Go do whatever you want. You're not good anymore. You're washed. You used to be an NFL MVP. What you did for the game, we thank you for. You were excellent in your prime. You were a fun player to watch. One of the most talented quarterbacks of all time. This is embarrassing. I hope for Pittsburgh Steelers fans that they move on from this. Take a shot with a Dart, a Milroe. One of these guys get Shador. This is ridiculous that this is still a story, that this dude is 41 years old. He doesn't care about the game. He cares more about anything around football. Darkness retreats more than he does actually winning games. It'd be a shame for Pittsburgh Steelers fans, who are a proud fan base, to waste that good of a roster on a 41-year-old quarterback who's half the time not interested in playing.
Here's my thinking on the whole quote from today on the Pat McAfee show is, if Mike Tomlin ends up giving the okay on Aaron Rodgers coming over, Mike Tomlin is truly worried about his job, because this would be so un-Mike Tomlin-like. You got a player controlling the narrative. You got a player who's saying, yeah, you know what? I talked to Mike, but I'm just going to keep them on the chain. I have no timeline on my decision. If Mike Tomlin actually signs off on Aaron Rodgers being the next quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, Mike Tomlin is genuinely concerned for his job and doesn't think he has more than 1 year to develop a rookie.
Yeah. No, it would be surprising, because the Steelers are an organization that you look at and go, they're not, get pushed around by this kind of antics. But I guess we'll see. It's interesting they haven't signed him before the draft. I think they got their eye on someone. Aaron Rodgers will be retired here in 2 months.
All right, we're going to save story number 3 for 145 today, because coming up next, we got to make room for the coach. John Kentera joins the show coming up next. We also have those Hardy tickets to give away coming up next at San Diego Sports 760.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today by calling 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart.
Every day, families with a hospitalized child find comfort at our San Diego Ronald McDonald House. Right now, you can help, all while giving yourself a chance to win big. The San Diego Giving Back Raffle is your chance to win an incredible multi-million-dollar Carlsbad Beach House, luxury vacations, high-end cars, and so much more. But more importantly, every ticket helps families stay together during life's toughest times. Visit sdraffle.com to get your tickets today. That's sdraffle.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention all current and former firefighters, including civilian and military firefighters. If you or someone you love was exposed to chemical-based firefighting foam, or AFFF, and were diagnosed with cancers such as bladder, kidney, prostate, testicular, and pancreatic cancer, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Text now to see if you qualify. Chemical-based firefighting foam, or AFFF, has been used for decades to fight fires because it's highly effective at extinguishing petroleum and jet fuel fires. But studies have shown that chemicals used to make AFFF are highly toxic to humans. The Centers for Disease Control and the American Cancer Society have reported that these chemicals may be linked to various cancers. If you or someone you love was exposed to chemical-based firefighting foam, even if it was during military training, text now, as you may be entitled to significant compensation. Don't wait. Time is limited. Text CASE to 323232 to see if you qualify. Text CASE to 323232. CASE to 323232.
Never been to a rodeo? See what you're missing at the 61st Annual Lakeside Rodeo. Thursday, April 24th through Sunday the 27th at the Lakeside Rodeo Grounds. There's bull riding, steer wrestling, kids stick horse races, rodeo queens, and exciting events all weekend. Yeehaw! It's fun for the whole family. The rodeo will take place over 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. It's an event you don't want to miss. Get tickets at lakesiderodeo.com. That's lakesiderodeo.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down.
Get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
San Diego Sports. Now.
This report is sponsored by the San Diego Mojo. Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show he is unsure if he will return. He was also frustrated at how the Jets let him go. And Damian Lillard has been taken off blood-thinning medication. He will be ruled out for Game 1 against Indiana on Saturday, but could potentially return to the playoffs later on down the road. Get ready to stir up some excitement with Major League Volleyball. Your San Diego Mojo are here at Viejas Arena, so you can get close to all the volleyball action. Get tickets starting at $15 at letsgomojo.com. That's letsgomojo.com.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Right now, the coach, John Kentera, joining the show. We'll talk some Padres with the coach. Coach, how we doing?
Oh, Fletch, doing really well, thanks. And your partner got out of jury duty today, huh?
It's a miracle, isn't it? It's like they looked at him and said, I don't trust that hair. We got to sit him down right away.
Yeah, that hair is starting to get a little bit long, and when he's ready to get a haircut in the house, I got some sheep shears we can use.
There you go.
We could get, if I ever do get my haircut, I will have Coach John Kentera do it. That would be fascinating for social.
All right,
Yeah,
Coach.
I'll tell you what, it'll be a bowl haircut, the old-fashioned style.
Take me back to middle school. That's not something we want to be at, Coach.
I think it'd look good on you, Sammy. I really do.
Boy.
Coach, you look at the Padres, the way they win the game yesterday, and I feel weird using this term, but it really was vintage 2025 Padres baseball because they didn't really have the offense early in the game. And then when they needed it, Fernando gets a ribby or two. Manny has a ribby or two. Tyler Wade's on base all game, who's like the fourth starting center fielder of the season. It felt like just a gritty win, which I keep stealing Mike Schultz's word, but I don't know how else to describe it.
Well, the way I would describe it, they're playing some good old school baseball, and you got a lot of. By the way, the Cubs were a really, really good team, and it's interesting. They split with the Cubs now on the year, and they're done unless they face them in the playoffs. Are 3-3, and both teams in the 6 games each scored 25 runs. But that's a good win, taking 2 out of 3 from the Cubbies. But Mike Schultz. There's a lot of factors in on this. I mean, first of all, I think we got to start with the general manager and the head of baseball operations, AJ Preller, from the standpoint. He got a bunch of guys. Look at the mental makeup. Just go around the infield, go around the outfield, go around the bench of the guys they got on this team. They got good mental makeup. Guys that like to play, guys that want to play. And there are a lot of teams, guys, and I know fans have a hard time believing this. There's a lot of owners out there that say they want to win, but they don't want to make the commitment. There's also players out there that are really, really good baseball players, but they don't necessarily love the game. They love the paycheck. But the Padres, when you look at the mental makeup, they got guys that are baseball players and they want to play. And Mike Field has instilled this culture, and I give him a lot of credit. And I think one of the reasons, and people won't talk about this a lot, but getting rid of Juan Soto, I'm a big believer, sometimes addition by subtraction. Juan Soto was a distraction to the organization, to the manager, to the teammates. He was late for buses. He was just kind of an odd duck. He never really fully committed to being a San Diego Padre. And by getting rid of him a year ago, it changed the whole dynamics when Mike Schultz came in as the manager. Mike Schultz obviously works a lot better with AJ Preller than Bob Melvin did. That relationship was not really good from spring training on that first year, I don't believe. And I was surprised that Bob Melvin came back his second year. But Bob's having great success right now with the Giants. But again, I think you got to give the general manager credit. You got to give the manager coming in here. He changed the dynamics of this ball club. They got some veterans. They got some young guys. But they got guys that want to come to the ballpark every night, and they're playing old school baseball. They don't strike out. They put the ball in play. They're not afraid to lay down a bunt here and there. They're running. I mean, they're just playing 60s and 70s baseball right now.
Gavin Sheets has been really doing wonders for the lineup recently. Do you think his success is sustainable and could become a core member of the lineup?
Say that again. I kind of lost you there for a second, Sammy.
Gavin Sheets has been so good recently. Do you think his success is going to be able to be sustainable, or do you think this is kind of just a hot start off the jump?
Well, I think a couple of things to look for. Number one, I probably watch more baseball than the average bear. I've had that extra innings package for years, and I could catch those 9:30 Thursday morning games from Detroit or from Chicago, and I watched a lot of Gavin Sheets, and I was actually pretty excited about when the Padres signed him. And not that I was surprised the White Sox let him go. I don't really know what's going on there with the White Sox, other than they hired a really good guy in Will Venable to try to manage that ball club. But I've always liked Gavin Sheets. I thought he underperformed in Chicago. I think he also had the thought process. He's got to be a pull guy, grip and rip and hit the ball into the seats and be strictly a pull hitter. And now I'm seeing him, number one, I'm seeing him use his hands a little bit more than his arms in his swing, and I'm seeing him use the middle part of the diamond. He's not afraid to hit the ball up the middle, left center field. And if he does that, then I think he's not going to hit 330, but I could see him hitting 265, 270 with some power numbers rather than, hitting 235 and 11 home runs. He's going to help this ball club, and I think working with Victor Rodriguez, who actually was a teammate once upon a time of Gavin's dad, Larry Sheets, down in the minor leagues, there's a lot of credibility there, and I think he's come in with the right attitude, and he's doing a heck of a job for the Padres.
It's pretty cool that he's become a fan favorite immediately after being with the White Sox last year, who had the worst record in history. Imagine being Gavin Sheets, coming over to the Padres and being embraced like this. Coach, you talk about old school baseball, the way the Padres are winning. And by the way, Coach Kentera joining us today on San Diego Sports 760. I look at the way Nick Pivetta pitches and the way he stomps around the mound and the way he works quick and keeps the defense engaged. I would love to see more pitchers pitch the way that Nick Pivetta goes, where it's just no nonsense, no fluff, just get up there and dominate guys one by one. You like Nick Pivetta?
I've always liked Nick Pivetta. I think at times, for me, he hasn't really lived up to, I think, the ability that he has. There was an interesting point yesterday in that game when he came off the mound. And I don't know if you guys saw it or not. He had a conversation with Ruben Niebla, who, by the way, I'm a real big fan of. I know a lot of people are, but he really does a great job with the pitching staff. And Pivetta and him talked for a minute. And the thing that I really liked, they were talking about the front side rotation, how he was using his front arm in his delivery. And when the conversation got done, right at the top of the dugout there, Nick kind of hit the pitching coach in the chest like, hey, thanks. I really appreciate that. So that tells you right there that Nick Pivetta has bought into what Ruben Niebla is selling. He's off to a great start, a 3-1 record. His ERA down in the 1.5s right now. But again, I think you got to take a look at the overall Padre pitching staff. They've got some guys now. Darvish, I don't know how much he's around the ball club right now. Musgrove's around there, and he's just a sponge for information. And Joe, I think, is doing a great job of trying to not only keep himself mentally involved right now, but he's trying to help the pitching staff by going through scouting reports with them and that. And then once again, it kind of comes back to the mental makeup that they've got on this team. They got a bunch of guys that love coming to the ballpark. They love playing with one another, and they believe what their manager's selling them right now.
Looking around the NL West, how good the start has been. Top four teams are all legit threats. Do you think the Diamondbacks and the Giants keep up this pace, or do you think they kind of fall back to the pack?
Well, I think you got to put a question mark next to the Giants. They're kind of the new player in the division. They haven't been very good the last couple of years. I expect the Diamondbacks to hang in there all year long, and I think Corbin Carroll, who got off to a miserable start last year, Sammy. And because you were over in Arizona a big part of last year, he got off to just a miserable start after being the rookie of the year before. And towards the end of the year, he got it going. He's off to a great start. They brought in Josh Naylor, who, Padres had once upon a time. They're going to score runs. The one guy that's gotten off to a miserable start, but he'll get hot. He'll end up hitting 25 to 30 homers, or third baseman Eugenio Suarez, and they've got the pitching staff. I think they're going to be in it. The Giants, will wait and see. Padres obviously are in it. And the Dodgers, everybody's complaining about what the Dodgers aren't doing. Well, they're still off to a great start. It's just the Padres are off to a historic start for this franchise.
Coach, before we get you out of here, you got a preview for us for the Astros?
Oh, well, I think everything matches up pretty well. I'm kind of anxious to see Kyle Hart pitch in that ballpark in Houston. I think the Padres could get 2 out of 3. I don't think the Astros are the Astros of the last 8, 9, 10 years. It'd be kind of nice to Yuli Gurriel to kind of, if he ends up DH in one of those games or playing first, I'd like to see him swing the bat. If not, I think after this road trip, they're probably going to have to make a determination whether or not they keep him or not. But, his greatest success in the big leagues were in Houston. I'd love for him to go in there, perform well, get a nice ovation for a guy that's had a pretty nice major league career. But I think the Padres go in there, and I think they get at least 2 out of 3 before they move on to Detroit.
The information station with the coach. You always love it.
Coach, quickly, want to get your Laker picks. Where you think this series goes with Lakers Timberwolves?
I think Lakers are going to get the first 2 games, but typical Lakers, they'll probably lose the first game and have to fight back. But I think they match up pretty well. I think on the season series they both split, but I'll take the Lakers to win this in probably 4.
Wow,
like
Sammy
that.
had
There
it
we
in
go.
7.
Again with the sweep.
Wow, Sammy had it going all the way. Coach, appreciate your time as always. You're the absolute best, man. The information station. We'll talk to you next week. Yeah.
All righty, Fletch. I'll look forward to it. Always enjoy. People are starting to ask me, "Hey, when are you on with Fletch and Sammy?" And so I'm your best PR guy right now. So keep the phone calls coming. I always enjoy it.
It's you and Steve Hartman. That's all people care about.
Yeah,
you guys come on our show.
They're like,
every
"Can you
week."
two stop talking and let Coach and Steve talk?"
We'll talk to you
Take
soon,
care,
Coach.
boys. Have a good week.
All right, there he goes, Coach Kentera. I really do love chatting with those two guys, man. But Coach is the best. All right, we'll take our final break of the day. When we come back, play some audio from Don Orsillo and get you set up for John and Jim, who are coming up at 2:00. But right now, giving away some Hardy tickets, May 22nd, out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Pair of tickets to go see Hardy at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Late May. Caller number 7 right now, 877-767-4760. You are going to the show.
San Diego Sports Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air.
15 before Miramar Way, car fire actually in the 2 middle lanes. The freeway down to a stop here. You get backed up from the 52. North 15 is slowing from Market to the 805 because of a lane closure. Mark Zegan, San Diego traffic.
Need help fast? Anderson's same-day guarantee clears clogs pronto. Nobody wows clients like they do. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air has served over 500,000 residential clients for more than 45 years. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air. That's AndersonPHA.com.
Hello? I'm a Marine.
No matter how you served.
My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
No matter what you're going through.
I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job. I feel so stuck.
We are here for you. If you or a veteran in your life is experiencing thoughts of suicide, dial 988, then press 1 to reach the Veterans Crisis Line.
Dear employer,
my name is Phil Martin.
My name is Michael Roskovich.
Ronaldo Bird.
Zach Deiser. I am writing to express my excitement at the opportunity to join your team.
As someone on the spectrum,
I may communicate in ways that are different from what you are used to.
I possess a unique set of skills
that sets me apart from other candidates.
Thank you for your consideration.
An autistic inclusive workplace is good for business. It's time to make a change. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/win.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's going to audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
News trending now on AM 600 Kogo.
From the Kogo News Center, I'm Veronica Carter. San Diego Humane Society says aggressive animals will roam free because of budget cuts. Nation's Fed chair says inflation's going to go up and the economy will suffer because of tariffs. And Pringles and Miller Lite have teamed up for a new chip infused with beer.
These stories and more on San Diego's News Radio 600 Kogo and Kogo.com. Brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union.
SDCCU's checking accounts are awesome. Check your balance anywhere with the mobile app and use your debit card everywhere you shop. For a limited time, open a free checking with eStatements account in branch and you'll receive a free ticket to Legoland California Resort. Find out more at sdccu.com/Legoland.
Sarah Spain for iHeart Women's Sports, presented by Elf Beauty.
Hillary Knight set a women's world's assist record in the last of Team USA's group play games at the Women's Ice Hockey World Championship on Tuesday. The 35-year-old Knight, making her 15th World Championship appearance, recorded 3 assists in the game for a total of 50, a new record for assists at the tournament. Knight is also the all-time leader for goals and points. For more women's sports stories, subscribe to Good Game with Sarah Spain on iHeart Podcasts.
Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate with Holy Hydration Face Cream Fragrance-Free from e.l.f. Skin. The non-greasy formula replenishes lost hydration that your skin needs during and after hard workouts. Shop elfskin.com for a firmed-up, bouncy complexion and clean, smooth skin all day long.
This is Dan Patrick.
I don't know about Cam Ward being a Hall of Famer. Odds are probably not. But teams will pass on those players because everybody's searching for their quarterback.
Weekdays at 6 a.m.
You would pass on somebody who is in line to be a Hall of Fame caliber talent. But that's the draft. Sometimes the best player is right there, but you don't take the best player.
We talk NFL right here. San Diego Sports. 760. America's finest sports station.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The NFL has evolved into a game of speed and finesse, but the Chargers are zagging while everybody else is zigging. Jim Harbaugh's vision is clear. Bring back smash mouth football. In the offseason, the Chargers fully embrace that identity. Their offensive line is built for power. Rashawn Slater, 2-time Pro Bowler. Joe Alt looks like a future star. And they just added 363-pound Mekhi Becton to create a road-grading interior. Then there's Najee Harris, 240-pound running back. The Chargers aren't just trying to establish the run, they're imposing their will. In a league built to stop the pass, defenses are getting smaller and faster. The Chargers want to be the bully, wearing teams down for 4 quarters. It's an old school approach, but in today's NFL, it might be the next big trend. If Harbaugh's team can execute, the Chargers have the perfect antidote for modern defenses and maybe a serious advantage come playoff time. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it really easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Falken tires. Go to TireRack.com/Dan, see their Falken test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to stand out, and that's where True Green comes in. Here's the best part. It's more affordable than you think. They'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Not happy? They will come back between visits to make it right. So don't wait. Head to truegreen.com today and let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results. Exclusions apply. See truegreen.com.
San San Diego Sports 760.
so much drama
It's the
in the
Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you for another 10 minutes or so. Congratulations to Garrett. Congratulations to Dave. What's up, boys? Congratulations on winning tickets today on the show. Appreciate you listening. As always, we'll have some more tickets to give away tomorrow. Now, Sammy and I plan on doing the show for the next 40, 50 years, I'd say at minimum. Advances in modern medicine and with all. Lee Corso,
the GOAT,
since 1987, has been a part of every single college game day. Since 1987 has been a part of every single college game day. Lee Corso is going to have his final college game day at the start of next college football season. He's about to turn 90 this August, and then right after that, he will do his final college game day. You want to know the fun fact about Lee Corso that's always been my favorite little tidbit of
information.
That's the one tidbit of information ever. During the offseason, Lee Corso is like an executive, a manager of the pencil brand, those yellow pencils that everyone uses.
Oh, Ticonderoga.
So if you notice when you watch College Game Day, he always has, say that word again,
Ticonderoga
pencil in his right hand, and he's using it to make points and stuff. That's his company. He's like an executive, one of the higher ups within that company.
Yeah, Coach Cordo's the best, man. It's gonna be weird not seeing him on the desk anymore, but I mean, no one can. They better not have someone recreate the headgear picks.
I hope not.
Like I like
McAfee's
cool on there, but I don't want to see any one of them putting the headgear on. No one can do that. That's only Coach Corso, and amazing broadcast career. So shout out to him.
I mean, 40 years doing it. Nobody gets that. Nobody gets that. So congratulations on an incredible career. And not so fast, my friend, but enjoy retirement. Please, Lee Corso, thank you for being part of our lives for as long as you were. That announcement coming down this morning. All I do know is we're going to get at least one more time with Lee Corso on the College Game Day broadcast, and I'm sure Kirk Herbstreit is going to cry several tears on air because that's something that Kirk Herbstreit likes to do on a regular basis. All right, before we get out of here, quick review. Black Mirror season 7 just came out on Netflix within the last week or so. I'm 2 episodes in, and I gotta say it's going back to the original seasons of Black Mirror that were so incredible. Sammy, have you watched any of Black Mirror?
I have not. It's funny you said it though. A friend of mine was
None of the
telling me to watch
seasons?
it. No, I never watched any of them.
Go back to the start.
I'm not a
man.
huge sci-fi guy.
It's not really sci-fi. It's a little Twilight Zone-y. Like every
I
episode,
know it's like
something
what?
different.
It's like electronics gone bad and
Sort of. It's more just like things that happen now in regular life. Imagine if they're like 10 years in the future and some of the problems we might have. It's really freaking
So it's
good,
a little
man.
depressing.
It's very depressing. The writing in that show is top notch, though. Black Mirror season 7, they kind of lost me in seasons 5 and season 6. They kind of got away from what they were. They're right back to it with the new season, so can't recommend it enough. Also, 14 years ago today, Game of Thrones came out for the very first season, which is crazy. Something that took over my life for about a decade. Game of Thrones 14 years ago today was when it came out. All
I'm
right.
ready to go see that Sinners on Monday.
100% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, it's getting unreal reviews. I'm excited to see that.
It might have dropped down to 99%, but for a movie that's coming out in theaters for as many reviews as it has, now I often don't trust Rotten Tomatoes, but that's pretty impressive.
Rotten Tomatoes gave Anchorman a 16%, so we're not really interested in what Rotten Tomatoes has to say about movies, but it is awesome that the reviews are great. I think it's going to be exceptional, and I'm excited to go see
Have you ever looked up the Rotten Tomatoes review for Boondock Saints, which is maybe in my top 5 movies all time?
No. It's like a 0.
Has like a 20% on Rotten
Well,
Tomatoes.
then they gave that movie the highest rated comedy of all time. Like one of theirs was, remember that? And I love Zach Galifianakis, so I love him in general. But
talking Due Date?
No, that movie's fantastic. That movie's great. Mastermind, you see that movie with him and Kristen Wiig?
With Steve Carell? No, that's
no. It's not very funny, but it's like their highest rated comedy of all time. It's like at 85%. I'm like, this is not like Anchorman's like 16, Step Brothers like 20, and this movie's like 80. And that's when Rotten Tomatoes lost all respect for me.
Yeah, I generally never trust the reviews. But all right, before we get out of here, Don and Mud going viral yesterday. Pretty cool moment as the Don started doing this new thing. They always get goofy. Do you have this, Sammy, by any chance? I emailed you the link. But Don Orsillo, who started this new thing, all down by way of the K, and then he makes a funny face, went viral on TikTok yesterday, and now it's the sound that's being used by everybody. But take a listen to our hometown broadcasters here, Don Orsillo, Mudcat Grant. This was pretty good.
P. Crow Armstrong. Love the hyphen. Love the hyphen. Carson Kelly. See it, Donnie. John Birdie, all down by way of the
I love the like intense music they put behind it.
And then he throws up. I've never actually seen myself make that face before. It's probably for the best, Don. It needs to be in the moment, but the face he makes is borderline offensive, but it's really, really good what's happening in the Padres broadcast booth. Don Orsillo, when he gets giggling, man, now responsible for two of the biggest moments in baseball history when he was with the Red Sox back in the day. The girl who was sitting in the front row where Don lost his mind because the camera caught something they weren't supposed to catch. And then with the Padres, it feels like every single week you could have one of those moments with Don Orsillo. I feel like we're pretty fortunate in San Diego to have those two guys in the broadcast booth. All right, that'll do it. 2 solid hours put in by me. A solid hour, 45 minutes put in by Sammy today. I feel good about
I
the
had
show.
to get up way too early today. I mean, this BS of getting out of the courthouse at 7 a.m., what is that?
It's called jury duty. It's your civic duty, Sammy. Well,
no, I'm just happy to do that, but I didn't really have to do anything. I just sat there.
Speaking of getting up early, big announcement coming up on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch tomorrow morning. So if you don't usually listen to 101.5 KGB, just tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, tune in. We'll probably be playing some Led Zeppelin or something good. And then we have a massive, massive announcement coming up at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning on 101.5 KGB, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Something that you will win a lot of prizes if you show up to. I promise you that. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Sammy, you're going to have to get out of bed at 6 a.m. one day coming up in the very near future.
Yeah, what is this that I'm roped into now?
Well, we haven't announced it yet. We're going to announce it tomorrow.
Could I know about it?
You can. I'll tell you as soon as we turn off our mics right now.
Maybe I'll tweet it out for people.
Please don't. I would get in a lot of trouble with that. But tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., big announcement over on 101.5 KGB. You're going to want to be listening. We're out of here. John and Jim coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow.
San Diego Sports 760 has your chance to win $1,000.